Beyond Dream's Door is an interesting movie. It takes the confusing unreality of dreams and turns that into the antagonist. It's a fun, mind-warping film that I feel like not a lot of people have seen, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's watch Beyond Dream's Door.
Beyond Dream's Door is where horror lies, where love may sleep with sorrowed eyes, where demons wait to greet the ones who dare not reach its darkened shores.
The movie opens with immediate confusion. Our main character Ben has a dream where the phone rings and is answered by nothing but laughs. The dream suddenly changes to a lady laying on some cement doors that open to reveal dozens of trapped and screaming people before the dream ends. Something fun to pay attention to is the physical state of Ben in each scene. In the intro, his dream self has a scar on his forehead, and throughout the film you can glean some instances of clarity about what is real and what isn't by paying attention to how Ben looks. A boy asks Ben to play hide and go seek, and their dialogue is playful until Ben says that he needs to find a really fun hiding place, and the boy's disposition seems more hostile.
I'll find you.
Ben hides in a secret room behind a shelf, but it seems that a fleshy monster is sharing his hiding spot. He tries to get out with the boy just staring at him, but as he struggles, the creature moves closer and slashes into Ben's back, causing him to wake up. Again. Ben then heads to school, and we meet Julie and Eric, who are both TAs for Ben's psychology professor. A crazy man enters the office asking for his latest grade in the psychology class, and when Eric shows it to him, the man freaks out and he puts a gun up to his own eye. Julie then steps in and reveals that this man is actually the professor that they work for, Professor Knox. And this was just one of his psychological experiments.
I'm studying how people react to it.
So what did you do?
I ran out in the hall screaming for help.
So we both killed him.
During class, Ben nods off and he dreams about a time when he went into his younger brother's room and found him dead. He runs into his parents' room, but his mom's head falls to the floor and her body rises beneath the covers, where we see the shapes of claws and hear something growl that causes Ben to wake up just as the class ends. He rushes to Professor Knox and hands him a paper that he wrote about his dreams, and Knox agrees to give it a read. Ben goes to a sleep lab experiment where Julie is hosting the study. He tells her about a dream that he had when he was a child with a red balloon, and she gives him a sleeping pill. Ben's dream from class continues. The monstrous form takes the sheets off to show the lady that we saw in the intro.
This is your dream and they won't be the last to die.
Ben runs and hides in a closet, but the monster returns and starts to rip the door down, but before the monster can get him, Ben wakes up to his phone ringing. On the phone is Professor Knox. He's just finished reading about Ben's dreams and he wants to speak with him right away, even though it's deep into the night. When they hang up, the boy from Ben's dream appears in the professor's house. Knox is clearly afraid of the boy, but he decides to empty his gun of bullets because he realizes that he may not be able to trust reality. You see what I mean about this movie all just feeling like a confusing dream? Like, there's some sense in the connecting narrative, but reality and the dream world all seem to blend together, making it hard to trust or make sense of anything that's going on. To add to the confusion, when Ben arrives, the professor asks if he has any underlying mental issues, but Ben says that he doesn't. And when asking about his family, Ben says this.
My folks are dead. I never had any brothers or sisters.
He says that his dreams have been acting like a chain, each connecting to the other in a continuous story, and he's afraid of where it's going to end. We see what happened in his last dream as it continues with the creature breaking down the closet door, only to transform into that boy again. When Ben reaches out to take the boy's hand, he's stabbed through it.
I can't feel anything!
The professor says that whatever is happening to Ben has also started to affect him, and he believes that there's something going on beyond mental instability. They go to the school because the professor remembers reading a journal of a psych patient that he believes could be connected to what's going on now.
White had the same dreams 20 years ago.
When the professor leaves to get some journals, the dreams once again cross into reality. Ben believes that he sees the psych patient that they are studying, and the man says that his dreams killed everyone that he asked for help. He says that each victim of his dreams became trapped in an unreality, and the dreams will just keep killing as long as the dreamer remains alive. The professor is cornered in the hallway by the creature, and we see him later bloodied, crawling to Ben, but he's grabbed and killed. At the same time, we see Julie is at the school finishing up a project. She sees a red balloon and she follows it upstairs, only to lose it as it floats to the roof. She heads home and tries to call Professor Knox, but the operator says that he can't find the number and says that there's no known record for him in their entire database. She hears a knock on the door, and when she gets up to check, we see that the red balloon is somehow right behind her. It pops into an explosion of blood, and we cut to the next morning. Ben returns to the library and finds the book that he and the professor spoke of the night before, but it's strange because multiple pages are now torn from it. We also get a glimpse of this janitor that has 2 hook hands, and we'll see him a little bit more later. Ben goes to Knox's office, but Eric is the only one in, and he says that the professor must be sick. Ben tells Eric what he and the professor were talking about the night before, and Eric seems to like Ben, probably because they're wearing the same shirt. Eric asks where Ben's dreams usually take place, and he describes a warehouse with large concrete doors, and this seems to spark something in Eric's memory. He takes Ben to a receiving bay in the school, and Ben immediately recognizes it as the place that he's been dreaming of. He notices that the concrete doors are closed and says that maybe whatever is contaminating his dreams was trapped in there and somehow got out. Eric finds something on the ground.
What'd you find?
I just dropped my keys.
We don't see what this is yet, but we will a little bit later. Ben heads out but asks Eric to read over his dreams, and they agree to meet the next day to discuss what Eric thinks. Julie calls Eric and asks to meet at the sleep lab later that night. They discuss Professor Knox, and she says it's strange because it seems like he's completely disappeared. And we see that that's actually true, because when Ben goes over to Knox's house, the house is now only an empty lot. In the lot is a message saying demons wait, and buried beneath is a missing page from the book in the library.
White claimed that everyone he knew was destroyed by it. Wiped away so completely that not even their names were left to show they'd ever existed.
The note flies off and he catches it just outside of a sewer entrance. He hears someone call out and is shocked to see a grizzled version of himself that seems to be living inside the sewer.
Nothing around here seems very real. But it's not just a dream anymore. You know that much already?
The grizzled Ben tells him that the paper that he has is the key to defeating the dreams. Ben leaves the sewer with the growls of the creature close behind him. After leaving the lab, Eric meets the hook-handed janitor. He notices water coming from the ceiling, and the janitor says that it must be rain. Then, he drops the hooks from his hands.
Shake!
He runs and grabs Julie, and they each go home for the night. Eric gets home and pulls up an animal book, and we see that the things that he found in the docking bay seem to be polar bear teeth. He puts them in a jar and then begins to read the notes on Ben's dream.
I'm standing in the rain. A man comes up to me and says, "Shake." I reach out my hand to do it, but then I see the man hasn't got any arms. The man throws his head back and laughs loudly. Beyond dream's door, tomorrow dies. For demons keep not human ties. To dreamers dead and dreamers dying. Souls on fire with fear of flying. Falling fast beyond the door where trouble grows.
When he finishes the paper, Ben sees blood begin to pool in the jar with the polar bear teeth before an apparition of Julie appears, only to be killed by the creature right in front of him. When he calls, Julie doesn't answer, so he rushes out to make sure that she's okay. At the same time, Julie appears in Ben's dream and begs him for help. When Ben arrives at Julie's house, he finds her headless body and sees Eric standing in the backyard staring at Julie's head.
Too late.
The two get into their car and leave, but Julie appears and asks them to stay. They drive off anyway, leaving Julie's once again headless body to collapse. When Ben and Eric arrive at Eric's house, they see the door open and his place completely trashed. It seems something broke in and took the polar bear teeth.
Nothing can be left to show it exists.
Ben realizes that the creature wants the paper that he has because it proves the creature's existence. He decides he wants to try and use the paper to lure the creature back into the concrete doors to hopefully lock it away again. Eric freaks out because he doesn't want to be a part of whatever Ben has roped him into, so he kicks Ben out. Ben then goes to the docking bay and he tries to open the concrete doors, but the ropes that he uses snap. The creature's shadow then appears, but when it rounds the corner, instead it's now the hook-handed janitor, holding a mirror. Ben shoves the paper into the concrete door and says that the creature will never find the paper, so killing him is risky. The janitor smashes Ben with a mirror, and we cut to the next morning. Eric realizes that his car is still at Julie's house, so he walks over to get it. When he arrives, Julie's mom asks if he wants to come in and say hello to Julie. When he gets into Julie's room, all that's inside is a coffin. The coffin opens and the creature's arm pops out. Eric runs back to his car, but Julie is inside. She tells him that Ben died last night and that Eric will be next. He runs home and sees the book that Ben was studying on his front porch. He kicks at it, but the book suddenly sprouts teeth and it clamps onto his foot. He crawls inside and slams the door onto the book until it finally lets him go. When he cleans his wound, the polar bear teeth appear from his blood, and then suddenly, Ben shows back up in his window.
If I were dead, all this would be over.
Ben tells Eric everything that he's discovered, and I know that this movie is moving really fast, so let's take what he's learned and what we know already, and let's put everything together. So, the dream itself is the antagonist, and it acts like a parasite, latching on to the dreamer and spreading to everyone that the dreamer tells. The dream feeds on fear, so it wants to torture everyone that it's connected to for as long as it can, and when it's finished with them, it devours them and erases any hint of their existence. The weakness of the dream seems to be the knowledge of its existence, so it wants to erase everything that knows of it and place it into its own dream reality. The only way to stop it is to kill the dreamer, but this will cause it to eventually find a new host and the cycle will start all over. But Ben has used clues within his dreams and believes that locking the dream inside of the cement doors should trap it inside where it will no longer be able to spread or hurt the dreamer or those who know of its existence. And that's pretty much everything that we know at this point, so let's continue.
This isn't over yet.
And let's finish it.
Ben has found some chains and he wants to use them to lift the cement door and trap the demon inside. He and Eric head to the school, but now none of Eric's keys seem to work on the locks. They break in through an upper story window, but the docking bay is also locked, so they have to head into the psychology office and grab a spare set of keys. They try to lift the door, but the fuse is blown, so Eric goes to fix it.
I got it.
While the doors lift, Eric is grabbed from behind and eaten by the creature. Ben sees Eric's head roll into the room, and the creature shows up and attacks. Ben runs into the underground room and waits for the creature to follow. Just as it catches him, Ben releases the doors and closes himself inside.
Beyond dream's door where horror lies, for those who search only for what's been found, and hear the noise, but not the sound.
And that is where this movie ends. There are a lot of movies about dreams out there, but I don't think that many of them embrace the confusion that dreams cause, as well as Beyond Dream's Door. It's a constant mystery that forces you to question the movie's reality alongside Ben. The process of understanding what's going on is really fun in this movie, and with each piece of the puzzle that comes into place, small details that we've already been exposed to start to make sense. As the answers begin to come clear, the questions seem to multiply, only for us to realize near the end that that is what the dream wants. It wants those questions to infect the host, and spread to any other person that he goes to try and make sense of what's happening. The movie has an obviously low budget, but I think the storytelling and the clever use of shadows and sparsely showing the creature really showed off the filmmaker's craft. I really liked it, and I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 Leonardo DiCaprio meme faces from Inception, because that's also about dreams, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and a huge thanks to my YouTube members. Thank you guys so much for the extra support. I love you. But yeah, I hope anyone who's made it this far only has dreams of cute cats doing like flips and cute cute things go meow. Yeah, I don't know. Bye.